The room went silent the instant the words left her lips. My wife, my Sarah, I thought, as she let out a small laugh, swirling a glass of red wine between her fingers. The worst mistake of my life, she said lightly, was marrying him. A few people chuckled uncertainly, glancing at each other. Some tried to pass it off as a harmless joke, but her tone wasn't playful. It was cutting, cold, dismissive. I just stood there, frozen, while the sound of laughter lingered like the ringing in your ears after a blast. It was supposed to be a celebration, our 10th wedding anniversary. I'd spent weeks organizing everything, booking the venue, curating the playlist, even putting together a slideshow of our memories through the years. Her smile at our wedding, our first tiny apartment, the day she surprised me with our dog, Max. Every photo, every memory felt sacred to me. But in that moment, her words tore through me, and I realized maybe they only mattered to one of us. After everyone left, the house felt drowned in silence. The candles had burned down, puddles of wax pooling on the table. I sat there, staring at my reflection in an empty wine glass, waiting for her to say something. Anything. She finally stepped out of the bedroom, heels tapping against the wooden floor. You're still up? She asked, her voice flat. Yeah, I murmured, just trying to understand what that was back there. She sighed. Oh, Daniel, don't start. Start what? I asked quietly, asking why my wife decided to humiliate me in front of everyone we know. Her arms folded across her chest. It was a joke. No, I said, standing. It wasn't. You meant it. Her eyes flickered, just for a second, but it was enough. In the days that followed, something between us shifted. It wasn't sudden, more like a slow fade, like a curtain being drawn a little more each day. The morning text stopped. The late-night conversations disappeared. When she smiled, it never reached her eyes. Then came the phone calls. She'd step outside every time her phone rang. Once, I caught a whisper. I can't talk right now. He's home. When I asked, she snapped. Stop being paranoid, Daniel. You're suffocating me. Suffocating. Strange word to use for a man who felt like he couldn't breathe. I tried convincing myself it was nothing, that she was tired, distant, maybe going through something. But truth has a scent. Once it fills the air, you can't pretend it isn't there. So one night, when she left for yet another work dinner, I followed her. It felt wrong, like betraying her privacy, but something desperate inside me needed the truth. She drove across town to a restaurant we used to love. The irony made me want to laugh. I parked a few blocks away and watched as she stepped out of the car, hair perfectly curled, that red dress she used to wear for me. Then he arrived. Ethan. Her coworker. The one she'd mentioned casually, the guy who helps with projects. I'd met him once at an office party. He'd smiled too long at her, and she'd looked away too quickly. Now they sat close together, leaning in, laughing softly, the way lovers do when they forget the world exists. I gripped the steering wheel so tightly my palms bled where my nails dug in. The air in the car felt thick, impossible to breathe. I wanted to storm in, demand an explanation, but the moment she reached across the table and touched his hand, tenderly, the way she once touched mine, I already knew. When she came home later that night, I pretended to be asleep. I heard her tiptoe in, the faint scent of his cologne trailing behind her. I lay still, facing the wall, feeling myself quietly shatter in the dark. For days, I said nothing. Not because I was weak, but because I couldn't believe it. You spend years building something, memories, dreams, little rituals, and suddenly it's gone. Like a photo left too long in sunlight, fading until the faces are barely there. A week later, I asked her to sit down. Sarah, I said softly, are you happy? She blinked, startled. What kind of question is that? An honest one. She looked away. I don't know. I nodded slowly. Then tell me about him. Her head snapped up, eyes wide, shock, fear, guilt, all flashing at once. What are you talking about? Ethan, I said quietly. You don't have to lie. I saw you. The room went still. Then her shoulders slumped, and the truth came out in a whisper. I didn't mean for it to happen. Those words, everyone says them, as if they could make betrayal hurt less. How long? I asked. 3 months, she murmured. I nodded again, my heartbeat thundering in my ears. Do you love him? She hesitated. Too long. I don't know, she finally said. Somehow, that was worse than yes. I didn't yell, didn't throw anything. I just sat there. You could have told me, I said quietly. I would have let you go. Her eyes filled with tears. Daniel, please. It's not what you think. I was just confused. No, I interrupted, my voice shaking. You just thought I'd never find out. For weeks after, we existed like ghosts in the same house. We barely spoke. I went to work, came home, cooked for one. She moved into the guest room. I replayed everything. The way she laughed with him, the way she once laughed with me, and that moment at the party when she called our marriage her greatest misfortune. Maybe that was her truth. Maybe I just refused to see it. One evening, as I packed a bag, she appeared in the doorway. Where are you going? She asked, voice trembling. Somewhere quiet, I said. I need to breathe again. She nodded, tears streaking down her face. I'm sorry. I looked at her one last time. The woman I'd once loved more than life itself, and said, You know what the real misfortune is, Sarah? It's not that you married me. It's that I believed every word you ever said. Then I walked out. It's been months since that night. I live in a small apartment by the sea now. The sound of waves helps me sleep. Sometimes I still catch myself checking my phone, expecting one of her morning texts, but the screen stays dark. I've learned something, though, something painful but true. Betrayal doesn't destroy you in a single blow. It erodes you slowly, piece by piece, until you're forced to rebuild yourself from what's left. And maybe someday I will. For now, I sit on my balcony, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise, and whisper to the wind. The worst mistake of my life wasn't marrying her. It was believing I wasn't enough.